On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. We got a lot going on with the confirmation stuff. Pam Bondi's kind of stands out, and we've got a bit more video with her than some other stuff, but we've got some other people too. But she's doing incredible. I think her answers are incredible. It's weird and fun to watch the Democrat side, the way they try to pin people down with just stupid questions. We got some examples of those today as well. Want to hop into it because we've got a bit of video to play today. Also, some tragic video of some nonsense that's going on in North Carolina and some insane information that I am 100% sure is not accurate, but it looks like the Bidens are going to try to figure out how to milk more money out of the government, or at least insurance, and we'll get there in a second. All said, we got a lot to go. Let's rock and roll. Couple weird outages today to mention just to get things started. Citibank customers reported fraud alerts and account access issues. Apparently, Citibank knows about it, but I haven't seen anything that's updated as of now. So I don't know if you got a Citibank account. They're aware of a problem. I don't know exactly what that means. Instagram has gone down also across the U.S. as users report the app and service connection are not working. This is all from Down Detector, and this is around 9 a.m. Eastern time with more than 10,000 users reporting issues. It is happening. Things are changing. Things are weird. Who knows? Los Angeles Fire Department bosses just sent 5 fire engines to the Palisades fire while holding back 1,000 firefighters and 35 trucks in critical first hours. Here's the thing. They're definitely trying to throw her under the bus. Right, wrong, and different. I get it. Essentially what they're saying is early on in the fire, and this was literally when the first fire started, she didn't just send everything she had to the first fire. And you wouldn't necessarily. Windy conditions, you know that you're going to have other fires pick up. Certainly this one fire is likely going to cause other fires. So I wouldn't think you would send all of your equipment to the one fire, and also pulling in a lot of resources from other locations because you then make those locations weaker. I don't think anybody knew exactly how the firestorm was going to play out. So again, you can tell they're trying to throw her under the bus. I think it's because she made comments that were strong against Karen Bass, but she wants to keep her job, obviously. And Gavin Newsom, she wasn't saying things that were beneficial to those two. So again, and she's maybe a DEI hire on top of that, but so far, I don't know, feel like she's doing what she's doing, right? Like right, wrong, and different. I'm not a fireman. My grandpa was, and I had a stepfather that was, but that's about as far as that goes. Dude that helps me with my Christmas lights, he's a fireman. Outside of that, I don't have a lot. Donald Trump, truth this, the actual irony. A homeowner consents to pay property taxes that will go to the fire department. The funds are diverted to illegal immigrants because LA is a sanctuary city. An illegal immigrant comes and sets your house on fire, and the fire department doesn't have the resources to put it out. The homeowner paid for their own destruction. On top of that, the government is so inept that the insurance companies won't insure houses here anymore, so the homeowner is left with nothing. True. They've screwed insurance so badly in this state. It's just asinine. Again, I've talked about how they shut off my car insurance at the beginning of 2024, and I couldn't get it from only but like 2 different providers. Geico happened to be one of them, and my insurance doubled. I have a perfect record, and my insurance doubled. Now, I'm very lucky with the home insurance because I don't live right up next to the brush. I'm like 7, 8, 9 houses away, so technically I'm okay, but there's people on my street that don't have fire insurance. It's not good. So this state sucks. Newsom, well, it sucks from the standpoint of the way it's managed. It's an amazing state. Definitely worth fighting for, that's for sure. Newsom expands his special Trump-proofing session to include wildfire relief. He's talking about $50 million to defend Trump to essentially $25 million is going to fund lawsuits against Trump, and then $25 million for defense of deportation efforts. So, of course, Gavin Newsom is going to do everything in his power to fight deportation because, of course, why wouldn't we want to have a whole bunch of potential criminals running around here? Now, again, there's a lot of really, really great immigrants in this state and this country, but certainly this state. I know a bunch of people. So it's not a black and white issue to me, but there are certainly a lot of people that shouldn't be here, criminals that Gavin Newsom is going to try to keep here. So Gavin Newsom, we are definitely going to get rid of you. There's a recall effort already underway. There's also a recall effort underway for Karen Bass. We are going to remove both of you from office. That's a promise. That is a guarantee, as they would say. That barbecue guy back in the day. I guarantee. He was cool. I miss him. Now, here's the thing that's bullshizzle. Apparently, Hunter Biden is claiming within the house that burnt down in L.A. that he had a trove of nearly 200 artworks. 200 artworks. I guarantee you he didn't have that many of them documented. Guarantee you that he didn't have them insured. But he's going to claim that he had 200 pieces of artwork each that goes for who knows how much money. But he's going to try to get millions of dollars from the insurance companies because of his stupid artwork that he probably did not have. I don't believe this for a second. I'm sorry. There is no damn way you had 200 pieces of artwork of yours that you've done inside that house. I don't believe it for a second. Whatever. More shenanigans from the Biden family. Is anyone surprised? Now, here is some crap news. By the way, I got to slow this down once I'll start. I'll start it at a slightly fast speed, and then I'll slow it down. But there is some really crap news that's coming from North Carolina. Now, of course, obviously, Hawaii, Honolulu, still a mess. They still haven't started rebuilding, best I've heard. North Carolina, much the same. In fact, actually talking about kicking people out into snowstorms. And L.A., well, the snowstorm part's not happening, but L.A., don't expect FEMA to help you. If you get that $770, consider yourself fortunate, but do not expect FEMA or the government to help you. Newsom's talking about in that one article, too, I forgot to mention it, I think he's talking about $50 billion that he's going to try to free up to help get the building process started, which we've already talked about the land grab that they're going to do, the smart city they want to build likely. That's somewhat speculation. We know they want to build smart cities in L.A. This particular area just seems like a big, giant circle, big enough to do exactly that. So we're seeing it in action. Angelenos, this is what's going on. They're trying to steal your land. They don't want to pay you what it's worth, and they're hoping you're so broke and destitute you'll take whatever they offer you. This is pretty messed up. This is also messed up, like I said, from North Carolina. I think it's worth the 4 minutes.
So for those that missed the past 96 hours, couple of days in Western North Carolina, here is what has just occurred. On Thursday morning, my wife and I wake up and look at the spreadsheet that we have for Operation Shelter, which are people requesting help from us after Hurricane. The spreadsheet is full of people saying, hey, I'm getting kicked out of my hotel on Friday or Saturday. I don't have a place to sleep. Can you help me? And I thought, wait a minute. Wasn't FEMA supposed to extend these hotel vouchers for people that are in hotels waiting on FEMA? And so I go and look, and the local news is just full of these stories of people saying, you know, they inspected my home, but I haven't heard back, or I'm still in a hotel, they haven't inspected my home, I'm still waiting on them, but they're kicking me out anyways. And so we call a bunch of the people on the list, and it's the same story. It's like, yeah, FEMA hasn't come out to my house yet, but they're kicking me out tomorrow morning, and I don't have a place to go. My home is not habitable. Or they came out to my house, they checked it, they said, nope, no good, but I'm still waiting on them to get back to me, and I'm in a hotel, and they're kicking me out tomorrow. And I've called my caseworker, they said, your case is still pending, stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not good. So we start trying to help them. I get on the phone with Mercury One. Mercury One is incredible. And they're like, we're going to work on extending these hotel vouchers. So I start raising the alarm on X. I'm like, hey, we got all these people. Like, they said 3,500 people, 2,000 families are going to get kicked out of these hotels on Saturday morning. And there's just no indication that FEMA is actually doing work to get in touch with these people. In fact, we had phone calls with the victims, and they sent us screenshots and videos, selfie videos of themselves on hold for like 3.5 hours. Okay, so like they are not picking up the phone. Anyways, so I start raising the alarm on this. I'm like, hey, these people need help. What's going on? Why are you kicking them out of hotels? There's about to be like 6 inches of snow tomorrow. That's crazy. Nick Sorter gets involved, calls a bunch of representatives for me. I don't know how he has these guys' phone numbers. Dude is so well connected. And starts raising the alarm on that front. And then finally at like 5:30 p.m., FEMA goes, okay, you get 24 more hours. And I'm like, 24 more hours? What's that going to do? So anyways, Mercury One goes in and pays for like 3 weeks of hotels extensions. And then FEMA extends it for 24 hours. And then, of course, 24 hours later, we're in this crisis mode yet again, just trying to figure out, like, what do we do for all of these poor people? And so we start raising the alarm again. Mercury One gets involved again. We're getting phone calls from people crying, like, I'm going to get kicked out in the cold tomorrow. I don't even have a tent. Like, this is terrible. And so anyways, FEMA then says, okay, you get another 48 hours. And I'm like, oh my God, 48 hours? Are we going to do this again? And sure enough, we do it again. 48 hours later, everyone's freaking out, calling us. People on the phone like, hey, I've got a family of 5. We're in this hotel. FEMA told us to stay here. They inspected our home. We've got a 13-year-old, 11-year-old, 8-year-old, and they're going to kick us out tomorrow, and we don't have anywhere to go. And so we start raising the alarm again. All the senators writing FEMA to say, like, oh my God, can you please request an extension? And then finally, at 8:15 p.m. at night, these poor families, I'm telling you, 8:15 p.m. at night, last night, FEMA goes, okay, you can have it until like January 25th. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, do you have no empathy? Like, you couldn't have done that on Thursday night, Friday night. I mean, weeks ago. It really just seems super intentional.
It's not the people's fault that FEMA's ill prepared to deal with this. And I get that it requires a lot of man hours and manpower to handle all these phone calls and do all this stuff. So I get FEMA's definitely not probably staffed appropriately either to deal with this. But, they can pull from other places likely, or there's always ways to do this. There's always ways to offload some of this. There's ways to get AI involved. There's just a lot of things you can do. Just thinking a teeny bit out of the box, you could solve most of these problems reasonably inexpensively. So this is insanity of what's actually happening. And yeah, they're just, again, FEMA's continuing to screw over the average person. Handing some small points to Thomas Massey, even though it's going to take him a while to work his way back into my good graces, frankly. Not that that should matter to anybody else, but me, personally. I'm not going to say anything positive about you for a little while, buddy. But he did say, he posted, I volunteered to step aside if the speaker wanted to place someone else on the rules committee, and he chose that option. This was not retribution for my vote against him. I look forward to continuing my work on the Judiciary and Transportation committees. We'll see if you manage to stay in those, but hopefully you keep your nose clean, Thomas. Hopefully. Joe Biden on Wednesday is going to give his last Oval Office address as he prepares to hand over power to President-elect Donald Trump and exit politics after a decades-long career. By the way, it's Wednesday. This is his last Oval Office meeting to us, and he's still technically got, 4 more days? Again, his whole entire presidency, or at least over 40% of it, has been on vacation, so whatever. He's eager to get moving along. He'll be doing it at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is going to be tonight for many of you. Biden's leaving the White House after 4 years with a complex legacy bookended by Trump's historic return to Washington. It's kind of funny if you think about it, because everything was going really, really well towards the end of Trump's thing, even though COVID was happening and whatever. And then Biden just destroyed everything horribly, and then Trump's going to come in and make everything great again. It's just going to so highlight how badly the dude in the middle was, the Biden sandwich, if you will. So a lot is happening, a lot is changing, and I'm just freaking stoked to be a part of it. Hope you guys are too, really. It's going to be weird, guys. It's going to be an interesting year. I don't even, someone was asking me, my dental hygienist, her mom's like into some pretty hardcore stuff that many of you guys read and follow. And so we always talk about it and kind of, deal with things like that. And she's always got a lot of questions to ask me. And it's it's like she's like, what do you think? Like, what's gonna happen? What's the next big thing? And I'm like, oh man, like there's so many things, right? There's so many things that are lined up and ready for us. It's gonna be hard to tell. Mayor Adams met with a Trump ally and the Nassau County executive Bruce Blakeman, as insiders suggest New York City mayor seeking pardons, but they're saying that's not what this had to do with. They're, I think, talking about some real estate stuff going on. I don't know. They were having dinner at a restaurant, Cipollini, in Manhasset. Raised eyebrows among political people, but they supposedly did not talk about Trump. Supposedly the two discussed ways the city of Nassau County could work tougher together, particularly on the issues of violent gangs plaguing the swath of Long Island, or Long Island, as they say, said the City Hall rep. So, I don't know, whatever the case is. He's meeting with somebody that's major Trump person. And it's possible. I don't think it's pardon. I actually think if they talked anything about Trump, it's going to be more about like, yeah, how can I help this better for us? We need to get some of these people out of our state like ASAP. You guys want to maybe start here? We'll help you out. And I think he's already kind of, Mayor Adams has already essentially acknowledged that, yeah, he's going to follow the law, and he comes from law enforcement, and he's not real thrilled about what's happening. So New York seems to be, at least New York City seems to be making some progress in the right step. I think Hochul's just as stupid as Newsom. So I think from that standpoint, the two governors are retards, and we got to figure out how to get rid of them. And we need to get enough people to really start to rise up. And in both states, it's similar. There was a serious red shift, but not enough of a red wave yet to push us all the way across the board. I think that is actually coming through some of the tragedies that are unfolding. And New York, I don't know what's going to happen with you guys, but I'd be concerned because of what happened in L.A. Could, not necessarily the fires, but there's different ways. You guys have a lot more of that criminal element there than we, I think, do yet. I don't know. We'll see. They're both scary places. Biden bullies who screamed at Meta staff to censor Facebook posts are now named and shamed. All of this stuff has been coming out, and this is going to be fantastic how they pointed out, how they actually show what the Biden administration was doing. They didn't like stuff that was critical of vaccines, but being truthful and honest. The report, which was released last year, has been recirculated after Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg told Joe Rogan last Friday about bullying his staff, or the bullying his staff had to endure at the hands of the Biden staff. The meme that outraged Slavitt was a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at a TV in the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which said, 10 years from now, you're going to see an ad that says if you took a COVID vaccine, you'd be eligible for payment. They wanted him to take that down. It was satire. It was humor. And he said no. But this was what the Biden administration was doing. They were trying to control information. Now, they'd say, well, that's malinformation. It's not helping the big picture. You guys making deals with drug companies and not being fully honest with us, and then on top of that, removing a medicine that we could use instead so you could get your emergency use authorization. You see, that's not really good. In fact, you guys were doing the malinformation. We were just trying to inform people so they literally had some form of informed consent, unlike what you, Fauci douchehole, were doing. Just to give an example. So, needless to say, the truth is coming out. The abuse that they've been doing to us is showing itself, and awesome. Thank God it is. Pedophiles could see the death penalty under a new House GOP bill. Taken off the streets permanently, that's for sure, and then the possibility of getting the death penalty. So if you're raping someone or if you're molesting someone, you are essentially murdering their soul. These people never actually fully recover. I've actually sat on a committee with a very prominent female House Democrat who actually talked about the fact that she was molested as a child. And so you can see what the impacts, and it really hurts people. Now, my big concern is how easy it is for two consenting adults to have sex, and then maybe the following day somebody feels bad they did it and then cries rape. That's a problem. So this whole idea that all rapes are, molestation of children, absolutely, 100%, because there's no oopses on that. That is full-blown jacked up, and yeah, you screw someone's life up tremendously. But the idea that all rapists per se, because again, I've seen a lot of people get accused after the effect with somebody. I've seen them together. You're like, you guys are practically dating. This, it's like, yeah, she hates my ass now. This is what happened. I'm like, fuck, that's messed up. So it can't happen that way. So I don't think everything is black and white. I think a lot of people like to make things binary. I think that's actually one of the parts of us that's spiritually evolving, is we're kind of going to go from more of a binary kind of way of thinking to a more everything's sort of gray. There's examples of everything that is okay, right? Like if everything is like, this is always wrong. Well, unless this or this happens. Well, okay, then it's not always wrong, but almost always. Gotcha. But now we're finding that middle ground. And that's really what it comes down to in all cases. There's very few things that are black or white. We like to make them that way, but oftentimes they're not quite that simple. So this is coming from Luna. She has been molested before. In fact, she got a big old argument with one of the ladies in Congress today. I didn't grab the video because it's just stupid, just them two. She called her child, and she's like, oh, don't you, like, so, and they just kept interrupting and talking over each other, and then the dude with the gavel's like, oh, we need order in here. Like, okay. Jeez, you guys are nuts. But yeah, we'll see what comes. Still a little early, but good for Luna. She's making some good noise. House Republicans push to extend Trump tax cuts amid Democrat pushback. They're supposed to expire here coming up in 2025. The Republicans are trying to push it through. They think they've got a way to push it through as a reconciliation so they can actually bypass the filibuster. Again, we'll see what happens, but they're talking about keeping that tax cut, and there's some cool aspects of the tax cut. I remember it made a difference when I was W-2 back then, so we'll see what happens. But what do we see? We got lowering tax brackets, more generous child tax credit, 20% deduction for pass-through businesses, and some other stuff. I guess 60% of taxpayers could see higher taxes in 2026 without extensions. I think Trump will definitely help those extensions. And I think he's also going to, well, frankly, try to get rid of a lot of the taxes we pay. Now, and we've talked about there's the Internal Revenue Service. He's wanting to create a group called the External Revenue Service, which is really going to be about tariffs and getting taxes, if you will, from other countries that are sending and trading products with us. That's a pretty neat idea, because that ERS, Extended Revenue Service, could actually help pay a lot of the bills. And the more of the bills that are paid that way, the more of the bills don't need to be paid by us. And it also gives them a chance to possibly pay down the debt, which I don't know. We kind of have to, because debt owners, it would really be tough on the economy if we didn't pay it back. But when you think about it from the standpoint of the deep state, you're like, oh, we got to pay them back? Are you serious? So again, I don't know how that all plays out, but the Fed's got to go at some point, right? I mean, Q talked about how precious metals, or gold specifically, was going to kill the Fed. Love to see it happen one way or another. Don't exactly know when, don't exactly know where. I mean, I know something with Taiwan could definitely cause things to get freaky in the world in a big way. Us kind of getting weird with Panama could cause some tension. But we are also seeing a lot of improvements, too. So it's really, really hard to know exactly where to put all your eggs, if you know what I mean. So again, eggs in baskets. One thing I highly recommend is looking at your IRA or 401k. And inflation's taking a bite out of your dollar every single day. In fact, 25% of your buying power literally was reduced during the Biden presidency. So long as you made more than 25% on your investments over the past 4 years, if you made more than 25%, you're actually netting positive. If you didn't quite make 25% over the past 4 years on your investments, then you've actually lost buying power, or another way to say it, you've lost money. You may see a higher dollar amount, but what you can buy with that dollar amount is reduced. So you've kind of lost wealth. And that's one thing that precious metals protect you from. It's one of the many, many reasons why I love Goldco. They don't believe all the crazy crap I talk about, but Goldco, they're just wonderful people. Their customer service is bar none. They'll answer as many questions as possible. And really, it's about diversifying some of that 401k and IRA into a precious metals IRA. It's a brilliant idea. There's still a lot of room for growth in the precious metals market price-wise. Some people for sure are talking about 3,000. I think the way things are playing out, we could easily see it go even higher than that. We have to get a lot of things under control, and if they can do it quick enough, who knows? But this is a way to protect yourself. This is a way to kind of set the bobber. And frankly, people that have bought into it a year, 2, 3 ago, they're actually positive to such an extent that their buying power increased, which means they actually made wealth. They increased their wealth. Hard to do, and there's not a lot of real assets right now that you can do that with. Bitcoin's really the only other one. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Let my good friends at Goldco help you transition or diversify some of those funds out of that 401k and IRA into a precious metals safe haven where that wealth can actually grow and be protected. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Protect that wealth before they, hurt it, in fact. And you also get some cool stuff. Fill in the data points and all sorts of gifts. And if you call within the 15 minutes, they're actually going to give you that Ronald Reagan coin we've talked a lot about. So again, drslikesgold.com. Check it out. A lot of good stuff over there. Pentagon contractor was fired after undercover Department of Defense Stop Trump expose came out. Our good friend at O'Keefe Media Group caught this guy talking about all this, talking about how he was in a skiff and he was talking to generals about how to stop Trump. This dude's been fired and let go, and reasonably sure he's been questioned a lot. So we'll see. But this is a great thing. And he talked about how he'd been in conversations with a couple of retired generals. He described ghostwriting with a 501c4 advocacy organization. They're like 1, 2, and 3-star generals and admirals. So again, these are these groups of people where they're like, 1,000 retired generals say they hate Trump, and it's like, all right, well, that's stupid. But yeah, that's what's a lot of this stuff is happening. So he also said he was in huge meetings with military leaders in a very secure room called the Tank. Well, the Tank is a nickname for the Joint Chiefs of Staff Conference Room, which is a SCIF. It is a compartmentalized information facility, secure for that matter, discussing the focus of these meetings. He shared that the United States has specialized in artificial intelligence and emerging technology, quantum, and cybersecurity. He elaborated on the potential of the quantum technology, stating quantum is incredibly fast supercomputing that doesn't yet exist, but will soon exist, and when it does, it will change everything. Yeah, for sure. Whoever figures out quantum computing first is, going to be just total rock stars. The thing that Google did is it's stepping in that direction, they say, and probably so. They made some very weird assertions based off of, they were like, we must be working in parallel universes. That's the only thing that explains how fast it's going. It's like, maybe, but wow, that's an interesting conclusion to come to. So now you're saying there's definitely parallel other worlds, I guess, which I don't disagree with. Don't get me wrong. I've sometimes had fun with the thought of, like, think of every single choice you've ever had in your life. Well, you consciously chose one, but there's probably a version of you that chose the other, and it's still living on. And he say, our souls are quite surprising when you dig into it from what we understand from a lot of the writings, a lot of the sources, there's a lot of information out there. All said, House reports finds billions wasted during federal telework program as unions lock in with the White House. So this is, basically the Biden administration made deals with the unions. These people were essentially working remotely. They were not only not necessarily productive or as productive, but also we had all these federal buildings that we pay for, we manage and maintain, that nobody was in. Just an absolute total waste of money. So Comer is doing a good job trying to make some noise and see if we can get into all that. Now, I just want to let you guys know, this next thing that I'm going to play is satire. It is fake. It was AI or something that did it. It is not actually the conversation that happened. It's funny as hell. This is satire. I'm going to play it anyways because I still think it's funny, but you have to say this because there's somebody out there that's going to be like, no, I thought it was true. No, it's not. It even says on the screen, this is a parody. This is fake. Here it is. It's funny as hell. Please check it out.
Mr. Hegseth, are you attracted to obese Hawaiian women with a below normal IQ?
No, Senator.
Mr. Hegseth, are you aware that I used the potty all by myself today?
No, Senator.
Mr. Hegseth, you seem to be pretty fertile. If confirmed, would you commit to putting a baby in me?
No, Senator.
Mr. Hegseth, are you saying under oath that you refuse to impregnate a portly Hawaiian retarded woman, even if she can use the potty all by herself?
Okay, I couldn't resist. It was actually the first time I said no, and then the second time I Had to. So that video I just played is satire, ladies and gentlemen. That video I just played is not real. It is not real. She never said those things in real life. That was satire. That was AI. And damn funny, because it's probably reasonably close to truth. All right, I'm going to turn off this is a parody, because that last bit was a parody. It's scary. That's why they write on the side of a gallon of paint, do not ingest or do not drink, because somebody thought it was a good idea to drink paint, right? There you go. All right, we got a whole lot of stuff with the confirmation. Try to burn through this. A lot of good video. So this is Marco Rubio. Again, I just want to talk to these people in pink, the ones that the communists pay for, Communist China. You guys remember how they busted a lot of people on January 6th for, I forget the actual crime name, but, for interrupting a proceeding? Remember that? Remember how they got busted and thrown in jail for, there's Jan still there. So how come this is not that same crime? I'm not sure. I don't understand. Because they're interrupting a confirmation hearing, a proceeding, a government affair thing, whatever the crime was. You guys are going to email it to me, whatever. It is what it is. I don't care. This is insane. But anyway, here's Marco Rubio. The main reason I wanted to point it out, but it's 20 seconds. I made it longer.
Alliances emerged in the Indo-Pacific and Europe that led to the emergence of stability and democracy and prosperity in these regions.
We've had forever war ever since. Little Marco, keep your hands.
Merrick Garland, you should put him in jail forever. I'm assuming that's a him. Had a very gruff voice, but could have been, any one of the many genders that you all make up over in that part of the world. Breaking news coming out that Hegseth's confirmation odds have surged by almost 10% following the Senate hearing. We talked about the betting on political stuff. Their odds are very good. In fact, their polling is probably significantly better than most pollsters. In fact, nice. Polling will probably stop to a degree because of these guys. They'll actually sort of be considered honest polling. Now, we do think in sports that sports are messed with. So the betting, I think, sometimes takes into account that, like what everybody expects to happen, but they, I think, have an idea or maybe are behind or whatever, may have a know that, one side's going to win or not the other. Hard to say. I'm alleging this. Don't know for sure. I'm not besmirching anybody. I mean, I am, but I'm not, right? Again, you have to be careful because they're funny these days. But yes, Hegseth's confirmation hearings, he looks like his chances have gone up significantly. Joni Ernst, a Republican from Iowa, she officially endorsed Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. I'll play it. What the hell? It's 36 seconds.
And so he was adequately able to answer all of my questions. He pointed out the woke issues at the Pentagon. And I think we're at a point where now we can start moving forward. People know where he stands on these issues.
Yep.
So I felt it was a good hearing.
I thought it was a good hearing for him. Does he have your vote?
I am breaking news, Simon. I figured you would ask this. So, yes, I will be supporting President Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth.
Boom. That's pretty good news. Here's CNN talking about the fact that it's pretty much sounds like Pete Hegseth's going to make it.
What are you hearing from senators now that the Hegseth hearing is done?
The expectation that he will get confirmed. In fact, I just asked Senator John Thune, who's the Republican leader, the majority leader, decides the schedule of the United States Senate. I asked him about Hegseth's nomination. Thune has not said a ton about this nomination. I said, does he have any concerns about these allegations of sexual assault that Hegseth has denied but came up in today's hearing, about these allegations of misconduct and the like? And he indicated he does not. According to Thune, he said that Hegseth acquitted himself extremely well, and that he plans to move very quickly on this nomination. And it is moving quickly. We expect the Senate Armed Services Committee to have a vote as soon as Monday, Inauguration Day. That is according to the chairman of the committee, Roger Wicker, who told me that he believes that he'll get the support of all Republicans and be able to push this through.
What are you...
Yeah, so it sounds like it's going to happen. That's good stuff. John Ratcliffe, who was Trump's pick for CIA and Director of National Intelligence for the final months of Trump's first term, is going to rail against the politicization, yeah, whatever, of the intelligence community during his Senate Intelligence Committee hearing today. I do think we have some video of him talking. This is actually pretty good. Check this out.
Confirm my leadership at CIA will focus on setting and communicating priorities and demanding relentless execution. Above all, will be a strict adherence to the CIA's mission. We will collect intelligence, especially human intelligence, in every corner of the globe, no matter how dark or difficult. We will produce insightful, objective, all-source analysis, never allowing political or personal biases to cloud our judgment or infect our products. We will conduct covert action at the direction of the president, going places no one else can go and doing things no one else can do. To the brave CIA officers listening around the world, if all of this sounds like what you signed up for, then buckle up and get ready to make a difference. If it doesn't, then it's time to find a new line of work. We must be the ultimate meritocracy. I will unapologetically empower the most talented, hardest working, and most courageous risk takers and innovators to protect the American people and advance America's interests. And I will not tolerate anything or anyone that distracts from our mission. It would be inappropriate in an unclassified setting for me to discuss in detail some of my views on intelligence collection priorities, but I'm happy to do so in the classified hearing that will follow this one. However,
and what's really important for all of us to understand, and certainly the general public and when we ripple, is the people that Trump is choosing are people that we, especially the Q people especially, but we trust. And by trusting them, it gives us a chance to get trust back into an organization, especially if we see movement. So these guys I'm on board with. There's a lot of people that, like to couch quarterback a lot of this stuff, and frankly, I'm not going to. Massey stood out from everybody else as a solo individual. That was weird. Again, I'm going to beat people up that do that all day long, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene's done it before, too. I beat the shit out of her every time. And not obviously a bad way. And she's come back around. And who cares what I think, right? But still. This dude, Patel, again, a lot of these guys that are Bondi. God, Bondi's awesome. We got a bunch of good stuff with her. We got a lot of really good people that seem to want to do the right thing. And Trump, I think, will support it. The deep state fears these people. I think we're onto something. So I'm going to give a lot more leash on Trump and his choices and administration and see where it gets us. Because frankly, there was no other option that even had a chance of being better for us. It was either we were going to get locked up or this other choice. And a lot of people can be like, well, we could have gone for, RFK Jr. Yeah, he didn't have a chance of winning. Didn't have a chance. 5% of the population liked him. 7%. I don't even know if he broke double digits ever. Love the guy. I like him. But I don't think he was necessarily the right guy to try to bridge gaps or fix things. I think where he's at is perfect. So we have this moment in time to make things better. I got a bunch of stuff from Pam Bondi. I hope you guys like her as much as I did because a whole bunch of people asked her questions, and I think she did a marvelous job. And I've got good and bad, both sides. Let's say Republicans and Democrats asking her. And I even have Kennedy talking to her, which is always fun when Senator Kennedy does his thing. So that was pretty good, too. So got a lot of good stuff. We'll try to run straight through it pretty much.
President Trump's leadership on criminal justice reform has demonstrated what is possible when a president is unafraid to do things that have been deemed to be too difficult. We have to reach across the aisle and get solutions for all of these problems. Like the president, I believe we are on the cusp of a new golden age where the Department of Justice can and will do better if I am confirmed. Lastly, and most importantly, if confirmed, I will fight every day to restore confidence and integrity to the Department of Justice and each of its components. The partisanship, the weaponization will be gone. America will have one tier of justice for all. In all this work, I'll collaborate closely with this committee. I will work with all of you, as I've committed to do when I met with almost all of you. And I will partner not only with the federal agencies, but with the state and local officials throughout our great country. I look forward to answering your questions today and working together for this country and our Constitution.
One of the luckiest parts, first off, that was her intro. One of the luckiest parts about using her picture as a thumbnail, and I didn't know this until I did a search for her picture for the thumbnail, she's got a bunch of pictures of her in bathing suits. Damn, she looks good. I didn't go looking at all of them. I saw one when she was running. She was wearing some little tiny thing that I... Anyway, we're going to have a smoking hot attorney general on top of smart and all that other stupid shit. I know. She'll be smoking hot. Just imagine her, folks. Anyway, guys or girls of other persuasions. Here's Pam Bondi talking about fighting human trafficking.
Human trafficking became a top priority for me as Attorney General. I had the opportunity on a bipartisan trip to go to Mexico, and the one thing I found out there, they were doing better than we were. They had safe houses. I saw things I never dreamed I would see. And all of these things in my past have formed the person I am right now, sitting here before you. I came back to Florida. We started a human trafficking council, and we partnered with others, and we expanded and added safe houses in the state of Florida. I don't know how many are in this country right now, but I would like to partner with both sides, if confirmed, to continue those efforts.
I really dislike fake eyelashes, too. Not that that matters, but I just, every time I see them, it's just, Anyway, Senator Durbin, Dick Durbin. Don't be a dick. I was trying to find that on YouTube, the Triple X, when he's like parachuting down after he stole the Dick guy's car. And he's like, the whole time he was making a video about Dick and what Dick did and all the good stuff. Yeah, they gave it like the 4 seconds when he's parachuting in. Moral of the story, Dick, don't be a dick. So sort of the same thing to Durbin. Even though I don't think he can resist being a dick. He's like a dick 100% of the time, right? Like, I mean, anyway, it's got to be confusing for him.
Let me ask a third question. Do you believe that the January 6 rioters who've been convicted of violent assaults on police officers should be pardoned?
Senator, if confirmed as Attorney General of the United States, the pardons, of course, fall under the President. But if asked to look at those cases, I will look at each case and advise on a case-by-case basis, just as I did my entire career as a prosecutor.
You also advise the President on pardons as part of your responsibility as Attorney General. And so I'm asking you, do you believe that those who've been convicted of the January 6 riot, violent assaults on our police officers, should be pardoned? That's a simple question.
So, Senator, I have not seen any of those files, of course. If confirmed, and if asked to advise the President, I will look at each and every file. But let me be very clear in speaking to you. I condemn any violence on a law enforcement officer in this country.
Absolutely. And God bless. Great answer. The other side, Dick, I swear to God, I doubt very much, and I'm quite sure, in fact, from what we all understand and what's been reported, that Joe Biden never conferred with Merrick Garland in regards to Hunter Biden's 11-year pardon. No, Dick. No, Dicky Dick. No, Dicky Doo. Nope. I don't think so. So, you're just saying, when you stick your own name inside your mouth and shove it down your throat, keep that in mind, Dicky Doo. We've got more Dicky Doo right here. Pam Bondi refusing to say that Joe Biden won the 2020 election. Her answers are beautiful, and I think it demonstrates, one, just how sharp she is on her feet, or her ass, I guess, technically, but pretty sharp nonetheless. Check it out.
Are you prepared to say today under oath without reservation that Donald Trump lost the presidential contest to Joe Biden in 2020?
Ranking Member Durbin, President Biden is the President of the United States. He was duly sworn in, and he is the President of the United States. There was a peaceful transition of power. President Trump left office and was overwhelmingly elected in 2024.
Do you have any doubts that Joe Biden had the majority of votes, electoral votes necessary to be elected president in 2020?
You know, Senator, all I can tell you as a prosecutor is from my firsthand experience. And I accept the results. I accept, of course, that Joe Biden is president of the United States. But what I can tell you is what I saw firsthand when I went to Pennsylvania as an advocate for the campaign. I was an advocate for the campaign, and I was on the ground in Pennsylvania, and I saw many things there. But do I accept the results? Of course I do. Do I agree with what happened? And I saw so much. You know, no one from either side of the aisle should want there to be any issues with election integrity in our country. We should all want our elections to be free and fair, and the rules and the laws to be followed.
I think that question deserved a yes or no, and I think the length of your answer is an indication that you weren't prepared to answer yes.
I think you're being a dick. And by the way, did I mention in the bathing suit? She looks good. Yeah. Dick! You should look at her in a bathing suit and then see if you can answer the same way. Here's Blumenthal being a retard, which I know it's kind of given, but he's doing a full-on good job this time.
My question to you is, can you say no to the President of the United States when he asks you to do something unethical or illegal?
Senator, first, I need to clarify something that you said, that I have to sit up here and say these things. No, I don't. I sit up here and speak the truth. I'm not going to sit up here and say anything that I need to say to get confirmed by this body. I don't have to say anything. I will answer the questions to the best of my ability and honestly.
Let me ask you my question.
That's another way of saying fuck you. I mean, just saying, in a very polite, sort of legal-esque kind of way. So yeah, this is really, is this what that was supposed to be? Well, that's not what I thought. Nope. No, that is not what I thought it was. All right, well, whatever. Meh. Sometimes things happen. And that was probably good, whatever it used to be, but it's been moved or something happened. I don't know. So yeah, this is a guy, I forget who it is, that just, is this Durbin? Dick Durbin again. Just railing about Kash Patel coming. And she's like, he's not even here yet. He's not even scheduled for confirmation hearings. And you're going to waste 2 minutes of your life and my life on this? Awesome. Because that's great. So anyway, she it's pretty cool how she handles this. I like it. Anyway, check it out. Oh yeah, and they're obviously freaked out about this, which I think is pretty cool. And this is about the QAnon thing, and just I love the way they always like lump what QAnon is too. It's like, yeah, so they think that there's actual Satanist, pedophile, children-eating individuals in Congress. And it's like, not all of you. I mean, a bunch of you are satanic, sure. Few of you actually eat children. I don't think that's as rampant amongst all of you, but a few bad apples will spoil the bunch. So yeah, Hillary Clinton ran around with a face on her face. Yeah, she's pretty frickin' horrible.
I guess as I reflect on what you've said today, a couple things surprised me. I did not expect you to be as outspoken as you are about Kash Patel. He's been characterized as a professional career defense attorney and a career prosecutor. That's a pretty amazing achievement in his life. But he also has said and done some things which are impossible to understand and justify. For example, are you familiar with something called the QAnon conspiracy?
I have heard of it, but I do not know what it is, but I've heard of it many times, Senator.
So let me tell you what I've learned about it. Its core belief is that a cabal of satanic, cannibalistic child molesters are embedded within our government and are conspiring against President-elect Trump. They asked Mr. Patel about it, and he said, quote, "I agree with a lot that the movement says." End of quote. Does that sound like a good preparation to run the FBI?
Senator, I don't know anything about, I had heard of QAnon, but I've never heard that definition attached to it at all. You're going to have to ask Mr. Patel about those statements.
We will. And I'll tell you, until we get answers to those questions, I don't know many people on this side of the table will give him an unequivocal endorsement. This and his enemies list, what he calls his government gangsters, this is what you expect of Stasi. This is what you expect of secret police. It is not what you expect of justice in America, as you've even described it at the table today. So I would say this unequivocal support of Mr. Patel should at least have some reservation until he explains some of these outrageous positions he has taken.
I look forward to hearing his testimony about QAnon in front of this committee.
You will.
Dickie Durbin, and I wasn't trying to hitch. I just thought it was kind of funny. But, that was wrong considering you're whatever. But here's the thing that's so funny is they're bringing it up. They're bringing up the QAnon thing again, which just gets more people thinking about it. And it's going to be beautiful when Kash Patel gets to answer that question. And I think he's going to have an awesome answer. Yeah, I don't agree with everything they say, but there are certainly a lot of components to what they were talking about that were actually some validity. Might even bring a couple examples or memorize a couple examples of some posts in particular, and there's many to choose from, that he could then quote, or at least and I brought some posts that I can share. Here's a beautiful one right here that I don't disagree with at all. In fact, I think it's quite true. It's why I'm here and want to be, so he could nail them. A lot of the stuff around the FBI and some of the crap they were doing. And again, what's super funny to me is how Dickie Doo over here is talking about how, well, this isn't how our justice system's supposed to be. It's like, this is what you've been doing to Trump. What the friggity frick are you saying, Dickie Doo? Are you kidding me? Are you literally that stupid? Because we own the media, frigger face. Oh, it's hurting me not to say the F word. I think I said it once already anyway, but I'm trying not, because there would have been 8 of them. I probably would have added like Y and ING and LY and all sorts of stuff at the end. Oh, this dude sucks. Dickie Doo, shove it up your butt. Kennedy. We've got a lot to talk about with Kennedy. It's pretty good. It's 8 minutes. I'm going to speed it up a teeny bit. 1.2 I'm going to shoot for. I just think it'll help for those of you that are already watching my video fast, which you probably are, but I talk quick. I'm faster than a lot of people. It's not like listening to Hakeem Jeffries. You have to put him at 2 times speed, and it still sounds slow. I'm going to try to, drink a cup of decaf or something while this frickin' video's playing. Oh, it's been a tough day.
Relations. Can we agree that legitimacy is important to America's criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
Can we agree that legitimacy is important to the Department of Justice, which in part administers our criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
And if Americans come to believe that our criminal justice system or our Department of Justice is acting illegitimately, that makes Americans less likely to accept the results of that system, does it not?
Yes, Senator.
And that makes Americans less likely to follow the substantive laws that we pass that are administered by the Department of Justice. Isn't that true?
Yes, Senator.
And if that happens, we have chaos, don't we?
Chaos.
And the social contract is breached, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember a person by the name of Michael Avenatti?
Yes.
Several years ago, he was a media star here in Washington.
An attorney, correct?
Yes. He was a media star. And many members of our media loved him because he persistently bashed Donald Trump. And he was on TV every day. He was on CNN more than Wolf Blitzer. Do you know where Mr. Avenatti is today?
I believe he's sitting in prison, Senator.
He's in jail because he was a crook. And the Department of Justice helped put him there, didn't it?
Yes, Senator.
Do you remember a gentleman by the name of Sam Bankman-Fried?
Yes, Senator.
Boy genius. So smart and so powerful that he thought he could command the tides. So smart and so powerful and so rich that he would go to meetings with serious people like Bill Clinton, like Tony Blair, looking like a slob, looking like a fourth runner-up to a John Belushi lookalike contest. And he thought it was cute. Where's Mr. Bankman-Fried today?
I believe he is in prison, and I believe that's from the Netflix series I saw as well.
Mm-hmm. Because he's a crook. And who helped put him there?
The Department of Justice, Senator.
Can we agree that there's some really, really good men and women at the Department of Justice?
Many, many great men and women in the Justice Department, as well, Senator, as all the law enforcement agencies that fall within the Department of Justice. They're out there risking their lives, especially the law enforcement officers, every single day.
Can we agree, though, that there have been and may be today some bad people at the Department of Justice?
Yes, Senator.
We don't know for sure because for the last 4 years, the curtains there have been tightly drawn. But I think a minority of people there, have delegitimized America's criminal justice system. The most destabilizing act that I saw in the past 4 years, maybe in the history of the department, is when Attorney General Garland decided on the basis of dubious facts and untested legal theories to criminally prosecute a former president of the United States. And not only that, this is the special part. He decided to do it after the former president of the United States had announced that he was going to run against Attorney General Garland's boss, didn't he?
Senator, are you referring to going after a political opponent?
I think so. Now, this is one person's opinion. That kind of stupid takes a plan. And I say that because, number one, this is America. That had never happened before in America. That's the sort of thing that happens in a country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. It doesn't happen here. And I call it stupid because it broke the seal. It broke the seal. It normalized it. There are a lot of ambitious prosecutors in America, Democrat and Republican. And I'll bet you right now there's some prosecutor in a particular state thinking about, well, maybe I ought to file criminal charges against President Biden's inner circle for conspiring to conceal his mental decline. And that's the road we're headed down. And you've got to fix it, Counselor. You've got to fix it. And here's what, in my judgment, what I would ask you to do. Find out who the bad guys are and the bad women and get rid of them. Find out who the good people are and lift them up. But do it on the basis of facts and evidence and fairness. Because the temptation of some people is going to be, they're going to tell you, look, two wrongs don't make a right, but they do make it even. Don't resist that temptation. Help us restore legitimacy to the Department of Justice.
Thank you, Senator.
I was worth the moment. It was That's what we need to do. And honestly, the hard part is getting us to focus on it, because so many of us are caught up in the weeds of all the crazy stories that are going on. And I get you, they're fun to watch, they're fun to listen to, and you're like, I just want to know what's going on. I want to know what the other side's doing. I want to know, blah, blah. You're bringing that into your consciousness. I wish I could help you all understand how bad it is to bring in bullshit just for the sake of bringing in bullshit. You are not fertilizing what's going on inside yourself. In fact, you're polluting yourself. It's not the same thing as manure. It is not something that's going to enrich and grow. And what we focus on is what we expect and what we find out and what we live. And I wish more people understood that. And I know it sounds crazy. I do. I know. It's one of those things, though, it's like I always ask people to prove me wrong. It's like the second you start paying attention to the things you say, do, and speak, right? The second you pay attention to what you're doing, and then you look at, like, within 24 hours, what you experience, and you'll find some funny coincidences. Marco Rubio under President Trump, he's got his little statement he makes here. I don't want to say it for him. We'll let him say it for him.
But ultimately, under President Trump, the top priority of the United States Department of State will be the United States. The direction he has given for the conduct of our foreign policy is clear. Every dollar we spend, every program we fund, every policy we pursue must be justified by the answer to one of three questions. Does it make America safer? Does it make America stronger? Or does it make America more prosperous?
I like that guy. He's Cubano too, right? Like he's that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. I think the dude's a rock star. Not because of that. No. He's the best person for the job. I also just think it's cool that he happens to be Cuban. On top of that, Cuban people should be very proud, especially as we try to figure out what to do with that wonderful island beneath us. And we shouldn't own it. I'm not trying to suggest that. But anyway, I don't know why Dickie Doo got so much time today. Oh, are they freaking out about Kash Patel again? Is this? Yeah, I already played this. Cool. You guys just got lucked out of 2 minutes. I lucked out of 2 minutes because I'm already long. Whatever the case is. Donald Trump said Mark Zuckerberg, well, this is posted about Donald Trump. Mark Zuckerberg, he's throwing an exclusive black tie pre-inaugural ball for Donald Trump, bringing together. This is going to be Monday at 6:30 p.m. So this is after the inauguration, it looks like, right? Yeah. Celebrating the inauguration. Oh, they're celebrating. Oh, my bad. Bringing big players, though. Miriam Adelson, Todd Ricketts, and Tillman Fertitta. I've not heard of any of those people. Yeah, whatever. Mark Zuck, I heard of him. Not those peeps. Whatever. That doesn't mean anything. You guys know me with names, man. They could be like really popular. I don't care. Garbage truck from Trump's Green Bay stunt is going to join the inaugural parade. That's kind of cool if you think about that, right? So that's groove. Also, Donald Trump tripped this out for far too long. We have relied on taxing our great people using the Internal Revenue Service, through soft and pathetically weak trade agreements, the American economy has delivered growth and prosperity to the world while taxing ourselves. It is time for that to change. I am today announcing that I will create the External Revenue Service to collect our tariffs, duties, and all revenue that comes from foreign sources. We will begin charging those that make money off of us with trade, and they will start paying, finally, their fair share. January 20th, 2025 will be the birth date of the External Revenue Service. Make America great again. It's going to be huge. And if you also think about the fact that we'll be exporting energy, that could be wonderful as well. And it might lower the tariffs, but then at that point we start making revenue as a nation. There was a thing I was watching, I think it was Qatar. People in Qatar pay zero taxes on anything. Nothing. Zero taxes. Zero taxes. Anywhere. At least the dudes were listing off all sorts of crazy stuff. Everything. Like property, blah, blah, blah. Everything. No taxes. Why? Because they made $86 billion in taxes on the fuel and oil and energy, essentially, that they sell. They made $86 billion so they don't jack their people, which is asinine to Deep State. Deep State's like, what? You should make $86 billion, then charge all your people taxes and make $200 billion. What are you, stupid? And they're like, what are you, greedy? And they're like, yeah. And that's probably how that conversation went. Trump's team expects a war chest to reach $500 million by the summer. Trump's like, I got money coming. I don't even. So he's going to use this money, any war chest money that he's got, to help get other people elected, especially when the next set of midterms come. So he's going to use this probably through a pact or whatever the hell. But he's going to help the right people get across the finish line. And assuming Trump meets our expectations, which I do believe he will, then we've also got to understand that he's going to help us through this next step as far as labeling who the proper people are to support. And I don't mean we have to vote for them. You should think about it. But the ones that are going to get the publicity for sure, that's going to help the right people. So they can even be an underdog, but the right person, Trump just gives the word and it's done. We make them a rock star overnight, much like Bondi. I barely even heard of this chick until recently, right? Like, I wish I would have. Those bathing suit pictures they'll sit in the old spank bank, that's for sure. That's good stuff. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee is calling a special legislative session to address his school choice bill, as well as other priorities, as well as other prioritizes of President Trump's incoming administration. Fuck does that even mean? That doesn't sound right. Such is immigration law and disaster relief and volunteer state, as well as other prioritizes. Priorities? I think that's what they meant. They must have missed the I. That's got to be something like that. Anyway, whatever. This chick's awesome. She does a great job. Lee announced that he would call the Tennessee General Assembly to convene a special session on Monday, January 20th, to pass the Education Freedom Act. The governor said he will introduce a disaster relief legislative package addressing recovery needs for Hurricane Helene, as well as future natural disasters, and that the session will also tackle public safety measures regarding immigration, as the incoming Trump administration has called on states to prepare for policy implementation. Yes. Georgia Group, founded by Stacey Abrams, has been fined for campaign violation. In fact, not only fined, but fined the most out of anything ever done in this state for people doing campaign finance violations. Stacey Abrams' group that gave all sorts of money to people they weren't supposed to got heavily busted for spending money inappropriately. So the nonprofits admitted to violating Georgia's campaign finance laws in spending more than $3 million to support Abrams, the chick that founded it, and the Democratic ticket in the 2018 election, and spending more than $600,000 on a local ballot initiative election in 2019. Not allowed to spend that much money. They got fined heavily. They were fined a total of $300,000 Wednesday for violating laws. This is supposedly the biggest they've ever been found. She did a good job when she actually. I didn't realize that. The post that showed this. I like to grab the links usually, but that was actually. Oh! This is crazy. So there's proof now. Nature Biotechnology posted this as an article, science article that talks about the vaccines. And what they found, oddly, let me say if I can say all the target words and piss off certain people, they found actually that when these vaccines are given, specifically the COVID ones, that they actually do leave the injection site, unlike what we were told and what most doctors believed, by the way. It's not just that doctors are like, they don't know. They just stick the needle in you and they don't know where it goes. They're told it stays local. You're good. Just blam it in there and wabah, right? Make sure you wabah at the end, because if you wabah too soon, we know what happens when that happens. So, yes. So what they found is these things move in mice. Yeah. So we got a picture down here of a mouse. And they found that they gave the injection at a different site. I think maybe up here or something. And the vaccine moved down into organs. And a study, not done by the pharmaceutical companies, by the way, or it's done by others. So, yeah, they find that nanocarrier imaging at a single cell resolution across entire mouse bodies with deep learning. They find out that the vaccines do move, in fact. They pass around. So intermuscularly injected lipid nanoparticles carrying SARS-CoV-2 spike mRNA were shown to travel beyond the injection site, reaching the heart tissue of a mouse, leading to Proteome changes. Proteome changes. Suggesting immune activation and blood vessel damage. I feel like every word in that was difficult to say. Some of them shouldn't have been and then wouldn't have been, but there's so many that were tough that I was just like beat down. I was beat down on that. But I heard the bell ring and I'm like, all right, we'll live to do another slide. And that's what I'm going to do, dang it. We're going to start with an advertisement first, though, because, frankly, it makes a lot of sense. Mike Lindell's doing something really cool right now, and I love the fact that he's doing this. Obviously, the OTF code is the Rockstar entry form. It'll get you on the roof where the pool is and all sorts of stuff. It's a lot of fun. 2 drink tickets to start with, but, hey, we got to start somewhere. He's selling his Mike Cross, 30% off. You're getting a 30% discount. And it's like 0.867% silver or whatever. I don't know. It's like sterling silver. It's a beautiful cross. It's really, really cool. And I just thought it was really cool. He sells a woman's and a man's one. There's a couple of them. But it's actually a very beautiful necklace. You get a cool little thing, right? But this is Mike Lindell's cross. He believes in this. It's got the little gold kind of etched into it. But it's a very beautiful cross. And, of course, there is a man or a woman. Let's see what the woman one looks like. Well, it's basically the same thing. I guess it's probably just maybe a slightly shorter chain. I don't know how that works. Or I feel like it's the same price. Yeah, it's the same price, at least. Right? You charge women more. But you're saving 27.85%. It's normally $18,000. Yeah, so this is beautiful. I don't know what it is. I was stoked, one, that they offered something like this, just because I think there's some really cool products at My Pillow. I love them, the pillow. I've told you guys a million times how beautiful that pillow is. Their sheets are awesome because they're deep pocket. And that fourth corner, when I was, I don't know, my queen size that I had, when I lived in my condo, that last corner was a pain in the ass. I got My Pillow sheets and I was like, and it was extra long, so you just put it way under the corner, and I was stoked. So if you got a topper, it'll fit. If you and again, the quality of the sheets are high thread count and all that. It's just incredible how good they are. Again, how many colors do you need? I know a lot of people have bought sheets. If you've bought 5 sets of sheets already, folks, it's okay. You don't need the 6th or 7th unless you're like weird and you're like collector or something. You're like, no, I don't have this mauve color or whatever the shizzle that color is. So who knows? Their towels, again, amazing. They actually literally absorb water. It's so strange. It's something that I thought my other towels did until I got these, and then I had something to compare them to, and I was like, well, these are significantly better. They are $49.98, all sorts of crazy colors. You get the 2-hand or two face, 2-hand, and 2 body towels, and all sorts of beautiful colors and just powerful. They used to have the premium ones. I actually think the premium ones are better. They're a little bit more money, but whatever. The good ones, I mean, these are awesome. They're fantastic. But believe it or not, unlike the 2.0 pillow, I'm not thrilled on. I like the cooling technology a bunch. I actually think this is a better pillow. It's cheaper. It's better, period. That's just where I'm at with it. Sorry, guys. I have to be honest. But the premium towels are actually literally better than these. These are still amazing, and the premium towels are actually like Amazing Plus. Amazing Grace, How Sweet the Sound. I don't know. It's all that stuff. They also have this event where they're giving away all this other stuff, body pillows, and they got some good deals going on over here. Slippers, all season women's moccasin slippers. Yeah, they've got some crazy cool stuff over here. 2 packs of hand towels if you just want those. Chain knit throw blanket, or that could be the pet blanket. Call it what you want. They got all pajamas. They got men's fleece shorts. They got some really good stuff. They got some Christmas tree. Oh, the tree skirt. Look at that. For next Christmas, think about that for a second. They're trying to get rid of them. You know that. Take advantage of that sale. That's cool as hell. I actually almost want to buy one of those. That's awesome. I'm glad I actually clicked on that. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Just really, really good products, amazing prices, and the best coupon code that is out there. Let's just be honest. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Dr. Drew Pinsky criticizes YouTube for video removals and mandatory re-education training over vaccine discussion. I love it. And he's, by the way, with the TWC. You can go to TWC.com/OTF. I think that's what it's called. That's where you can get the contagion kit. But Dr. Drew Pinsky is one of the dudes that's behind that, McCullough and some bunch of other doctors. So he's talking about YouTube sucking because they remove important information. And they do. They absolutely do. Again, I'm not here to try to beat up on YouTube per se. Fully am, actually. But, you know, I do have a channel somewhere on them that's, and it's a crazy-ass name. It's hard as hell to find. But it's, like, I don't know, almost 2,000 subs. It grows like 3 a day. I'm like, really? Like, oh, man, when I first put videos out in YouTube, that was when I realized God's like, no, you need to do this, man. I got, like, 50,000 views on my first video, and I think I had like 4,000 subs, and I got like 50,000 views. My head popped. Again, for some of these people out there, that was nothing. It was like, but it grew, and there was one time where I literally just sat there drinking, watching the analytics. I was getting like thousands of views per, what was it? It was like many, many hundreds per minute. Like, it was just like, fuck. Like, it was just I couldn't believe it. Like, it was a trip. It was thousands of views per hour. It was like, I think I don't know if I broke 100 on that one. I might have after a day or two, but yeah, I got insane. It was like over 70,000 in a 24-hour period. And then they, you know, demonetized me and stuff. It was a fun experience for the brief moment in time. Now I've got to work hard for my love. Ukraine has conducted a large air attack. I don't know if this was within the last 2 days. It's hard to get a real solid, and they said it was today, but I don't know if this is true, because in the next story kind of references this is a response to the attack that happened 2 days ago. Whatever the case is, we used our munitions to launch attacks 700 miles into Russian territory. This isn't just hitting the outskirts that Russia took over, but actually into Russia, or Russia proper, and they definitely used our weapons. That's kind of not cool, but sort of. I thought like, oh, Biden's setting us all up to fail, so Trump's got this like World War III on his hands. But what kind of happened, and I feel like this is sort of actually proof that Putin is, in fact, buddying up with Trump. And I don't mean buddying, I just mean working with, let's put it that way, or at least they're aware of each other's needs, and they're going to work together to try to make life great for both countries. They almost immediately launched a counterstrike that was pretty significant. They give statistics that 30 of the 40 missiles were intercepted, whatever. I don't know what to believe anymore when it comes to that, but they're admitting at least that 10 missiles got through. That's still significant. But again, they were hitting the energy infrastructure. So almost immediately, Putin kind of neutralized the game, and he's kind of like, F you, deep state. Trump's coming in this clean. Anything that happens once Trump's in office, yeah, I'll talk to Trump, or we'll have something bigger going on. But Trump ain't going to let this shit go on. So we're, I think, very close to the possibility of less war or less dying. Just a more peaceful world. Good kind of stuff. Last week, President Trump stood in front of everybody. I'm going to replay this because it's worth it. It's 2 minutes, but it's talking about a significant event. And Trump specifically said, this shizzle better be done before I'm in office or else. And here is that conversation just to remind people.
January 20th, or is that something that's likely to happen? If there's a deal even at all, we've been hearing this now for the better part of...
I know. I would say...
They better be.
Right. I would say that the president is exasperated. I don't want to talk for him, but look, I don't know anyone who delegates better than President Trump. He gives us a lot of authority to speak on his behalf, and he exhorts us to speak emphatically. And emphatically means you better do this, because the alternative...
Do you think they're waiting for President Trump to take office?
No, I think they heard him loud and clear. Better get done by the inaugural.
But when you say all hell will be
Before I
paid,
take office.
All hell must be paid if they don't release the hostages.
You know what that means, don't you? Well, do I have to define it for you? Look, all hell will break out. If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is. And they should have given them back a long time. They should have never taken them. There should have never been the attack of October 7th. People forget that. But there was, and many people are killed. They're no longer hostages. I have people from Israel and others calling, begging me to get, we had also people there from the United States, just so you know. They're holding some so-called hostages from the U.S. But I've had mothers come to me and fathers crying, can I get the body of their son back? Can I get the body of their daughter back? That beautiful girl where they threw her in the car, pulled her by her ponytail and threw her in the car like she was a sack of potatoes. I said, what happened to her? Sir, she's dead. Like a 19, 20-year-old beautiful girl. And the way they treated her. And I just say it this very simply. Steve's got a job to do. He's a great guy, great negotiator, great person. They respect him over there already. It's what we needed over there. We have people that know everything about the Middle East, but they can't speak properly. They don't know. He's a great negotiator. That's what I needed. I could have sent that gentleman right over there, Hussein. He's a great negotiator. There are people, they're rare. Great negotiators are very rare, like a great surgeon. But we have the right person. But I tell this, I don't want to hurt the negotiation. If the deal isn't done before I take office, which is now going to be 2 weeks, all hell will break out in the Middle East. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. President.
You've done a great job.
Thank you.
All hell will break out. Trump is saying it, and he is basically telling them, look, here's the deal. If this isn't resolved, I will resolve it. Is that how you want this to play out, or you want to be done playing games? Because that's what's been going on with the Biden administration is games. And homie, don't play that, as would have been said back in the day. So a deal's been reached. Israel, Hamas agreed to a ceasefire Wednesday, a deal that will end 15 months of fighting in Gaza. This Qatar was working on it, by the way. The hard-won agreement will also free dozens of hostages held in Gaza, as well as Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails, bringing the first real break in violence since a week-long truce expired on December 1st. That truce lasted like minutes. And both sides shot at each other. Who did what first, I don't know, but both sides shot at each other. My guess is Israel waited longer to fire, but still, yeah. Donald Trump truth this out. This epic ceasefire agreement could have only happened as a result of our historic victory in November, as it signaled to the entire world that my administration would seek peace and negotiate deals to ensure the safety of all Americans and our allies. I'm thrilled America and Israeli hostages will be returning home to be reuniting with their family and loved ones. With this deal in place, my national security team, through the efforts of Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, will continue to work closely with Israel and our allies to make sure Gaza never again becomes a terrorist safe haven. We will continue promoting peace through strength throughout the region as we build upon the momentum of this ceasefire to further expand the historic Abraham Accords. This is only the beginning of great things to come for America and indeed the world. We have achieved so much without even being in the White House. Just imagine all of the wonderful things that will happen when I return to the White House and my administration is fully confirmed, so they can secure more victories for the United States. And here's the thing, Trump is battle-tested already. We know what we're going to get with Trump. We know what he brings to the table, and so does the rest of the world. So they're already negotiating deals without negotiating deals. Now they're probably going to try to go after him for some Hatch Act shit or some whatever the RICO. It's not RICO, probably Hatch Act, I think. Probably, I don't know. I mean, they can't prove that he said anything, I'm sure. Trump's probably guaranteeing that. The White House posted, of course, taking credit for the deal. Biden says it was ham, but it's going to actually play out in the next administration. That's a bunch of crap. That's why I played the video of Trump saying once again what the deal was. You either get on board or we will destroy you. Biden never said anything of the likes. Biden had nothing to do. Biden's administration, Blinken, and who the other guy is, nothing to do with this. Nothing. 100% Trump saying all hell will break out. That is what happened. Now, if this is true, I'm not sure. I'm guessing it is, but BRICS News reported Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has not received a formal invitation to attend U.S. President-elect Trump's inauguration. He'd probably be arrested because he's considered a war criminal right now, I think. So I would think it's not necessarily safe for him to come. But you would have almost thought that Trump would have offered up an invite, right? Like that's the right thing to do. But That would mean Netanyahu would basically have to say, I'm in the middle of a war, so I can't go, but I'm going to send an envoy. Or I'm in the middle of a war and a legal thing 3 days a week. I don't have time. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what's up, but we know Netanyahu's a busy dude, and we know Trump, at least publicly, likes the dude a lot. So I don't know. Something feels a little weird there. Germany tells troops to shoot down drones on site after wave of suspicious UAVs was seen over military sites amid hybrid war with Russia. So they're, again, blaming Russia, likely German deep state sending these things up. Try to freak people out, kind of like what's happening here in the United States now. Ours are super cool, so they're coming from the water, I guess, but still not from a Chinese submarine or an Iranian mothership, but actually likely either an underwater base, probably, or potentially some sort of underwater craft that's just chilling someplace, and we know it's there, but it's kind of technically ours, so we're not going to blow it up yet. I mean, it's Americans on board probably, but possibly deep state people, but not all of them know they're deep state. Some of them just think they're doing some cool stuff, doing testing, right? Like, they're not told the truth, right? The dude operating the sink in the kitchen, he doesn't know what the shit's going on the underwater carrier. We'll see. But yeah, Germany is escalating things as best they can. TikTok preparing for U.S. shutoff on Sunday. Sunday is the day, the 19th, and there's a lot of rumors floating around, but best we can tell, China has no hopes, no thoughts, no anything of selling TikTok to the United States in any way, shape, or form. None. So what people are saying is they will likely shut down on the 19th. I feel bad for all you TikTok people. Kinda. I mean, I don't. I mean, I badmouth TikTok so much. I don't want it to see it close down. I really think that was a bad choice, but yeah, whatever happens. I mean, I don't think it's cool that YouTube censors as many videos as they do, but they do, right? Like, so I don't know. It's just the world we live in. It sucks. I fight my fights where I can, but that's why I'm on Rumble. Hello, by the way, Rumble, click on the channel that you think you're watching me. For any of you guys watching me on Rumble, click the actual channel name when you're done, or right-click, open a new tab, or whatever you're doing, or click it after. But make sure that it actually shows on thefringe.com/C, which is channel /on the fringe. If you see that, it's me. If there's a number after it, if there's a letter after it, mine's on the fringe only. Click enter when you have that typed and go to a web browser, and then make sure you're subscribed to me there, please, because a lot of people are stealing my content. Kind of trips me out. It's kind of cool, I guess, whatever, but I don't want them to. So that said, that's what that would be very helpful to the channel. And if you're on BitChute, it's a little trickier, but yeah, On the Fringe is my channel over there. I think is it Dan Radio Show? Anyway, whatever. FDA bans red number 3, artificial coloring used in beverages. This is something that should have happened a long time ago. We've known this is nasty. Reminds me of that Code Red, and I'm pretty sure that Code Red drink, though delicious, is full of red number 3. Man, that stuff is like, just can't. Every time I drank it, it'd be like, just like a part of me died. It was incredible, but it tasted so good. It's like eating McDonald's. Well, maybe not a good example, because some of their food's all right. Whatever. I haven't eaten there in a while. But yeah, I feel like you eat some of that fast food stuff, and you're just like, part of my soul just withered away. But FDA's finally banned this horrible product. FDA is also talking crazy stuff about limiting nicotine levels in cigarettes and other tobacco products. Look, I've been a non-smoker for a while, 14, 15 years, I think, something like that. Anyway, it's not been that long, 10 years, maybe 11 years, whatever. I would have been super pissed when I was smoking cigarettes. And then I don't think this actually makes it less addictive. It just makes you have to use more of whatever the product is. So this actually does not accomplish what they're talking about doing. If you lower the levels of nicotine, you're going to require people that are addicted to nicotine to double up on whatever it is that you're offering. So if you're giving me a cigarette that used to have 1 milligram per box or whatever, 3 milligrams per box, I think I got regulars, whatever, I don't remember the exact numbers. If you were used to that and then they cut that back, well, now what's likely going to happen is I'm going to smoke 2 to 3 times as many cigarettes. This does not accomplish in any way, shape, or form what they claim it's trying to accomplish. This is literally meant to make more money on nicotine and nicotine products for whoever's buying stocks in those. That's literally what this will do. Nothing else. So whatever nicotine products that you use, you'll use more. That's it. I say it because I have huge empathy and love and sympathy for people that are addicted to nicotine. Period. End of story. Whether it's good for you or not, you guys can deal with that. I've seen the artist thing. Whatever. It's cool. I got you. Drake. Yeah, our little Diddy section here. Drake is not backing down on the war against his own label. In fact, he's now upped the ante by suing Universal Music Group for spreading the false and malicious narrative that he's a pedophile. Interesting. So, yeah, Drake is putting his money where his mouth is. And that means discovery is going to be found. And that makes you wonder, is that because Drake was going to maybe come out talking about some of the stuff he'd experienced, so they decided to go after him and call him a pedophile? But he's at least fighting it. It's interesting. Again, I want to see the truth come out. I don't assume anyone's guilty. I know many do, but I want to see him get his day in court. Diddy, too, for that matter. I want to see him get his day in court. He's got a lot of confidence. Diddy's infamous freak-off tapes could be made public if rapper gets his way. The rapper's literally like, I want people to see this. Now, I think he wants people to see it, but they'll probably be like, we're going to blur out everybody's face. And he's like, no. People need to see what's actually happening at these parties. It's not me or just me. There's a lot of people. And I think Diddy realizes, and probably, hopefully, well, I don't know, hopefully sounds wrong, but like if he was smart doing this horrible thing, like especially if it's an intelligence gathering, well, you don't want to be horribly jacked up and being part of the problem as much as making sure you get everybody riled up and they're all in the mosh pit together and you are standing on the outside making sure you're getting good video, trying to maybe even guide people into certain rooms because you know something horrible is about to happen. So I don't know. And again, there's a lot to this. I don't even know what truth is. This is just fun to speculate, in my opinion, on all the crazy that was likely happening. I want to remind you guys, too, if you want to help the channel, help a family, and just help spread the word. And we got another one, too, below in the description. There is the one that's, I think I'm wearing it right now. This one, all right, Dan, I'd rather. That's actually, I've still got that link below in the merch stuff. The lady did a great job drawing it. It trips me out. She nailed it. I mean, it really did. So if you want to get those shirts still, I think she's still selling them. But the person that's kind of currently trying to help me move forward with this is, you want to go to truththread.shop. That's truththread.shop. Got some really cool Dan Radio style merch. Got these cups. Got the awesome sweatshirts, t-shirts, baseball shirts, the ones I love, and I've got some of these too. And it's got a lot of stuff on both the front, ready for the Great Awakening, and then the back, Dan Radio style on the fringe. I don't know, it's kind of a little more simple. And then it's got the OTF Army of Enlightenment on the sleeve. A lot of really fun stuff going on with this particular shirt. So it's a great way. And they've got it in all sorts of different stuff. And it's the exact same print, basically, just different, t-shirt, tank tops, sweatshirts. We've also got the cool hat, wearing it right now, the exact hat, and this is a lot of fun. Good hat, great etching. It's not too deep a hat. Some people maybe like that more. I actually like a little more of a shallow hat, so it worked for me. We've also got just regular tumblers for the Dan Radio style. And we've got a few different concepts going on for like 9/11, for example. Never forget, and there's some very significant information on the back that people can kind of pay attention to and understand, right? Sometimes the truth can be stranger than lies. So there's a lot of information you're bringing with you. And a lot of people will read this stuff while you're in line. You're going to Disneyland or something crazy. Or you shouldn't go to Disneyland, but maybe. Or you're going to Six Flags or something more appropriate. This is fun to wear stuff like this because people are going to get stuck behind you in line, and they're ultimately going to read your entire shirt. And it's pretty cool when they do that. Unfortunately, we don't get the wonderful model with the sweatshirt. That would be appropriate and awesome, but no, she didn't come with stuff. That's unfortunate, nor pictures of her for that matter. I know, I asked. We also have the 6/11 Armor of God, shots fired, right? When Trump got shot, a lot of cool stuff with that. And again, more information put on the Armor of God. Fight, fight, fight. A lot of the good stuff that Trump did. So again, just shirts that are kind of trying to make a big difference. And then, of course, the original 5G Warfare. And this one's just super cool because it really simply states out the 5 different generations of warfare. So again, a lot of great information, certainly ways to help the channel. You're helping a family as well. You can go to truththread.shop. That's truththread.shop. Please send pictures to the email when you get the confirmation for your order. When you finally get the order, put it on. You don't have to show your face or whatever, but send photos, please, because I'm going to use those for the next movie I do. We do little movies. I don't call it a movie. It's kind of, I want to say it's like And We Know, but his is way better. Just because he's super good at production, I'm kind of, I don't know, whatever. But I put your picture up for a period of time and put some cool music in the background. It's a lot of fun. We've done 2 of them so far. I want to do the 3rd one. I think I've almost got enough photos. I could use a few more. So those of you that have some, get those sent to the email. You know who to send them to, and we will get that in the next movie. All said, a lot of things happening, a lot of things changing, and the world is becoming a better place because of you guys. And I appreciate you helping so much. Honestly, I couldn't do it without you, frankly. And so shoulder to shoulder, we're going to continue to move forward. Where we go one, we definitely go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.